from chapter 18 from the book. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So good to see you.
Nice to see you. I've been so excited to talk to you one-on-one since this launched.
I know. Oh, and I keep postponing because it's just
And kids and
no, you know more than I do.
oh my goodness. Well, it's all relative, right? Everyone's experience is so unique. No two kids are the same, as I'm discovering. I've got 3 girls and every single one of them is just so different from the other, right?
Yes, yes. And every day is different with them. Like they are constantly changing. Once you feel like you figure out something and you are so happy about it, next day it's a
Yeah,
surprise and you have to start all over.
exactly.
So we are here today to talk about you, your chapter, why you shared your story in the book. I just reread it last night because just to refresh my memory, and it's like I feel like everything you write, it's me.
And that's the best thing about this book. Like each story that I was reading, like they're all so different. And of course, there's, things that are unique to that person, but there's so many moments where you're like, yes, like I never knew how to articulate that, or I never knew someone else was feeling this way.
Yes. And you've been living with MS 14 years?
14 years. So, and, for the most part, thriving with MS, I should say, because, I have to say that I've been very fortunate and I really discovered the power in alternative, healing and really just going back to basics and simplifying my lifestyle. And I saw the benefits of that very early on in my journey. So I'm very fortunate that I kind of started on this path very early on. And then as I've gone, along, I've been taught a lot of different things. And my children have definitely been the biggest, teacher along this journey, I would find, especially in the last couple of years, because 2 out of my 3 were born.
Yes, I wish I read your story when I was first diagnosed because it would help me so much trying to figure out what to do next, what kind of things to try, how to approach this whole coping with MS thing.
100%. And I think that that's, where social media and everything has been so beneficial because like you said, back when I was diagnosed, nothing really existed like this. Like I was fortunate that a couple of people gave me some really good leads. So I started to find some great, resources early on, but there wasn't really much of a community. And now I find that that makes the biggest difference when someone is first diagnosed is being able to connect with people to give them hope. Right? That this isn't, that you're destined to be in a wheelchair, that, there are people who have had this for many years and they're living normal lives. And many people, they feel better now than when, before they were diagnosed because
that's me for sure.
Me too. I look back at all of my, and all of the signals my body was giving me very early on in life. I went on a hardcore antibiotic for acne for months. And then when that didn't work, it was like birth control pill. Like there was just so many things when I look back, I'm like, like it's not, I truly believe with MS, everyone is individual and it's not necessarily one, set thing, but it's this like culmination of things that we add to our bucket as we go through life, right?
Yes, yes. And when I said that out loud, I get some judgmental comments because I truly believe I caused my MS. Meaning the life I lived before, the not taking care of myself, my mental, my physical health, it just adds up, it comes out as an autoimmune disease.
100%. And as a woman, I know that personally, health before MS was always in the context of weight. Like I always struggled, with my weight, and I obsessed over it far too early in life. And the minute that I started to change my lifestyle, weight has not been a concern. It's not even a thought.
Isn't that
because it's true.
Amazing? I'm still like blown away by that. I wish the diet companies are focusing. Actually, they wouldn't make money if they focus on like telling us the truth, basically.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it's just amazing when you start to to focus on health for the real reasons, how other things start to fall into place. And, you know, going back to my experience with my children, that's been my biggest lesson, is that, you know, very early on in this journey, I was sort of, I feel like I almost I took for granted, because I did have such relief from symptoms, that I sort of put MS out of my mind, which is a good thing, because mindset, as we know, is such a big part of this journey. But I then got complacent. And it was sort of like, oh, you know, I don't have to be as strict because I don't have these symptoms right now. But then pregnancy, a lot of women find pregnancy changes them. And that's what I find, you know, with MS, a lot of people say that their symptoms go into remission while pregnant. And that was my experience. I didn't have a ton of symptoms before pregnancy, but I didn't have MS symptoms throughout pregnancy, aside from, you know, regular morning sickness, things like that. But it's in that postpartum period that you are more, for me anyway, I found I was much more at risk. And that's when it's sort of, you realize all of those little, you know, decisions that you make even in your pregnancy, they're going to catch up with you in the postpartum period. Because if you add inflammation to your body while you're pregnant, because you're like, I can eat what I want right now because my body, it feels great. But then you have this huge immune shift, hormone shift after you have your baby, and then that inflammation and everything is going to catch up with you. And a lot of women also find then pregnancy changes their body. Yeah. So you might have different dietary triggers. I know for me, then it was like when I did have symptoms postpartum, it was figuring out, pinpointing, okay, what's in my diet that is maybe causing this? And, you know, before pregnancy, I could do oats. After my children, no, oats are a huge trigger for me now. So it's learning as you go, and also recognizing that how I, you know, dealt with MS at 24 and on my own has to look very different at 38 with 3 young children.
Yes, yes. For some, this might be scary, you know, but it's constant changing. Just like, let's put MS out of the picture, right? Even we as humans, we're going through changes constantly as we age. So this is just a normal process. We cannot tolerate certain foods the same way we tolerated like 10 years ago.
Exactly.
So, but I feel like we have to pay more attention of what's going on inside of us and just listen to those voices.
100%. And that's the biggest, and that's the other, you know, great takeaway from this book, I think, is that really a lot, by the end of each person's story, there really is a message of like bio-individuality. Listen to your body, do what works for you. This is what's worked for me. You know, these are some strategies that you can try, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't, you know, expect that just because this did the trick for me, it's going to do the same thing for you, because we have all of those different underlying factors, those different dietary triggers, gut health, you know, all of those things that are so individual.
Yes. And you are a nutritional coach, right?
Yeah.
And I remember reading your story. Your dad was really influential in the beginning, just trying to get you on the right path.
Yes, I'm so grateful for him. Rest his soul. He died 9 years ago, and you know, that's a big part of my story and my journey, is that my dad died when I was pregnant with my first. So we never got to meet any of my kids or anything like that. And it's just been amazing to see, though, you know, the little signs that I've had along the way, letting me know that he's still, you know, with me. And I'm so grateful to him every single day, because he really was the one who encouraged me to be my own advocate so very early on. And he was the one who was saying, okay, yeah, you can investigate and go the MRI route and get the official diagnosis and whatnot, but there's things we can do in the meantime that's going to help you regardless of MS or not. Like, let's look at what we can do with your diet. Let's look at what we can do with your lifestyle. That's not going to hurt you. So you can still wait for your results and whatnot, but let's do something in the meantime.
Yes. Yes, it's so important, and you should be so lucky to have him as like a mentor, because I feel like when I was diagnosed, every single person around me, they were not pushing medication, but they were suggesting and questioning my decision. And that can be alone so overwhelming. You know, you are trying to figure out how to live tomorrow, basically. But like coming all these outside pressures is just so hard to deal with.
100%. And when, like you said, when you have that one voice who's sort of encouraging you, like, okay, yeah, give this a try, see if this will work. Like, you just feel in your corner, it makes it that much easier. But when you have people who are just saying like, no, just do this, you know, go on the medication or whatnot, and they're not even willing to, you know, just see what happens if you just try to support your body. You know, we're talking about just literally looking at the fuel we're, you know, using to fuel our bodies, the things that we're using. We can't expect optimum performance when all the foundational stuff is lacking, you know?
Yes, so true. Paulina is asking, during your 14 years of being a warrior, have you had any relapses?
Yes. So I've been very fortunate that I haven't had many problems throughout the 14 years, but most of my relapses, and when I say most, so I've had, I would say 2 or 3 relapses. The most significant one happened, we're just coming up a year ago, but as I was saying before, it was in that postpartum period. So I had 3 back-to-back pregnancies. I had a miscarriage in 2019, followed by another pregnancy a few months later. So then I had a 2020 baby. And when she was 5 months, I found out I was pregnant again. So then I had a 2021 baby. So 2 babies, less than 15 months apart during COVID lockdowns. So a pretty stressful period as it was.
I feel like anybody would be diagnosed with something like
right. So yeah, so that, and then my father-in-law passed away during that time. So there was just a lot of stressors. And as anyone with MS knows, I think that that is the one common factor that, again, everyone says, is that stress is such a trigger for flares. So dealing with all that while breastfeeding and giving away all my nutrients to my babies, having these hormone, you know, shifts and whatnot, and it coincided at the return of my cycle after having the 2 kids. So I had a significant flare. I ended up being in the hospital for a week. I could not walk for close to a month. But I'm so grateful to say that full mobility has been restored. And this last year has been about learning that even though I know some of the things that I need to do to thrive with MS, recognizing that although I have young children who need me, I need to prioritize that care for myself. And that really, I just sort of talked to someone the other day and I said, I just feel like I'm kind of coming up to the surface underwater from having the 2 back-to-back babies. To be honest, the last couple of years have been a complete blur. And I feel like learning to navigate all that, it's only now that as actually it's my youngest, it's her 2nd birthday today. So now they're 3 and 2, and I just feel now that I'm starting to get into a bit of a groove with it all, with learning how to still take care of myself while tending to their needs. So yes, the postpartum thing is definitely tricky. And that's why I would say for anyone who is pregnant, resist the urge to go off track. If you found things that are helpful for you, even if you feel fantastic in pregnancy, don't deviate from your lifestyle. Stay with it, because in that postpartum period, you're going to need all your strength. You're going to want to have, you know, limited inflammation in your body, because your body's naturally having so many shifts as is.
Yeah, it's so true. My daughter also just turned 2 years old, so we are on the same boat.
Oh yes, and that's the thing, and that's where, again, the community, just talking to other moms who are they're on this journey, and they're like, yes, I get the challenge, and okay, this is where meal prepping on Sundays is a non-negotiable, so that, you know, when you spend all your mornings changing diapers and feeding kids and cleaning up kids, you still have something that you can put in your own body, you know, especially when you can't maybe eat some of the same things that you're feeding your family.
Yes, planning and just taking time for yourself is so crucial.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. So anybody who didn't hear about the book yet, you can purchase it on Amazon and on our website, beatingmultiplesclerosis.com. And Joanne is sharing her story, and there's another 36 people, including my stories in it too. And all of them are so inspirational, for especially Paulina, who just commented again that she's very grateful that we are sharing our story. It's all of them positive, and if we don't have any positivity, how can we strive with this disease, right? It's that's what it comes down to.
Yes, I believe that's most important. The mindset is huge. It's huge.
Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else have any questions here? Thank you so much all for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We should do this again soon. I feel like you have so much information to share. And I know you went into details about the essential oils and all those things. I actually highlighted all of them because they are super useful. I use some of them, but I didn't know what most of them are for. I just use it because I know it helps. But,
and that's where it's so nice learning from everyone. So good.
Yes. Thank you. Have a great Sunday.